The mode of a documentary has major effects on a number of elements within the film, and in turn may influence the content as well as the filmmaker's style. Birth Control Your Own Adventure is a quirky and original documentary that serves as a self-portrait for filmmaker Sidnha Agha's own experiences with contraceptives. Its original style is a direct relation to the poetic mode, which works to effectively convey a sensitive subject matter. Through an examination of a number of techniques in the film, it becomes clear that they are a reflection of the poetic documentary mode. On a whole, poetic documentaries typically utilize an abstract and expressive approach when conveying something on screen. According to journalist Luke Domhill, the mode is lyrical and impressionistic in its characterization of the world. Likewise, film critic Bill Nichols exposits that the poetic mode began as a way of representing reality in a series of fragments, subjective impressions, incoherent acts, and loose associations. This can be clearly demonstrated in Birth Control Your Own Adventure, as it constructs a colorful and abstract world through its individualistic imagery that loosely resembles what the voiceover discusses. However, it still calls together associations in the viewer's mind and presents a comprehensible story. Furthermore, Nichols expresses that in poetic documentary, we learn by gaining a sense of what it feels like to see and experience the world in a particular poetic way. This is present in Birth Control Your Own Adventure. For example, when Agha discusses the pain her endometriosis caused her, bright images of bashed fruit and toppled ballerina figures act as symbols to visually convey this pain. This can be seen in the slide. Another example is when the voiceover discusses her doctor's recommendation of a mild contraceptive and images of plain bread and butter are seen, calling to mind associations of blandness. This insight into Agha's worldview is at the core of the documentary, as its main purpose appears to be to signify the struggle those diagnosed with endometriosis go through in a playfully engaging way. This refers to another element of the poetic documentary, that the authority of the mode comes from one's relay of an event in an aesthetic manner. Essentially, a major part of the poetic documentary refers to presenting information in a way that allows the audience insight into a particular view of the world. Through this, it appears that the functions of this mode are a direct influence on Agha's style and that several of her directorial choices are related to the techniques associated with it. The style of Birth Control Your Own Adventure is highly unusual and, like many poetic documentary films, conveys information in a highly abstract manner. Agha herself credits this unusual style to be directly related to the subject matter. The film delves into an exploration of women's normalized pain. Agha calls it a response to the pharmaceutical industry's failure to inform women about and protect them from the side effects of hormonal contraceptives. At the core of the documentary is the desire to bring attention to the sexism in reproductive health care through a reflective and visual presentation of the information, which in itself is a demonstration of the poetic mode. The most poignant presentation of this sexism is the voiceover that discusses the fact that men's contraceptives were cancelled due to the side effects after we have seen how the side effects of women's birth control have dramatically affected Agha and her mental health. She aims to empower her viewers as she projects the information poetically in a sensuous and evocative manner. Agha discusses her motivation for presenting the issue in such a way, expositing that the American public doesn't digest nuance well, and that this style allows her to criticize in a way that will make her heard and bring attention to the topic. Through her use of vivid imagery and humor to tell sad stories, Agha hopes to engage those who wouldn't usually listen, and that the visuals will allow people to see the world through her eyes. This desire directly reflects the intention of the poetic documentary mode. Her use of stop motion, collages, colors, and first-person monologue all work together to present a visceral experience which can be seen across all of her works. In Birth Control Your Own Adventure, we are able to conceptualize the painful experiences endometriosis sufferers face, such as the visuals of boiling soup on colorful backdrops seen on the slide, while Agha explains that her panic makes her feel like soup is being cooked inside her. Her works are often anthropological and, according to her website, harmonize humor and sadness. This is another tool utilized to engage those on sensitive but important topics. Overall, it appeared that Agha's style is wholly motivated by a desire to convey content in a way that will allow the viewer to see the world through her eyes. Style is used to demonstrate the content in a way that provides insight into her pain and experiences. This is at the core of the poetic documentary, as all techniques typical to the mode work to present the world in an unfamiliar and fresh way. Thus, the relationship between content, mode, and style in Agha's films all interconnect in order to present an engaging and involving viewing experience that encourages empathy and understanding in all that view it. Birth Control Your Own Adventure is undoubtedly a poetic documentary, and Agha's original take on the mode has resulted in a quirky, engaging style that works to represent an important topic.